Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Recipe, a Korean movie from 2010 that stars Seung-ryong and Lee Yo-won. It's a movie that revolves around food, so it's right up my alley. And this week I'm also reviewing the Little Forest films from Japan, so it's foodie week, folks. And I guess the reason why I'm reviewing these this week is that they just recently, or fairly recently, showed up on streaming, so I wanted to cover them. Now, the main character in this one is a television producer, played by Roo, who hears a story about a serial killer. And one day, this murderer was running from the police in a desolate area, and he finds a small little home and seeks shelter there. But as he enters the front door, he can smell an insanely delicious batch of fermented soybean paste stew. And as he eats the stew, he's so intoxicated and captivated by its smell and taste that the police easily close in and arrest him. So after hearing this kind of crazy story, the television producer becomes fascinated by it and launches a personal investigation to find the secret recipe of this stew, as well as the woman who made it. Now, first of all, I love this lead actor. When Corey and I did our best Korean movies from the 2010s video, this guy showed up on a significant number of our recommended titles, so many in fact that it became humorous. Maybe I'll include a link to that discussion in the text description box below. But this man has a very strong filmography. The Recipe, though, I think was one of the first movies that made me a fan of his. He's very charismatic and fun to watch. Some of his reactions to events around him are pretty funny as well. I like how he's still able to portray a proficient television producer, though. Early on, he thinks he's found the secret soup after he tastes some stuff from different people, but he could tell that something was a little bit off. He has a good sense about him, and he continues to dig for the real legendary soup. Now, this definitely has more story than the Little Forest movies that I recently covered from Japan. And I love those movies, but this one is more conventional of a film. If you love food, though, The Recipe still satisfies on that level. It has most of what you want from a movie that's food-based. For example, the search for the secret recipe is pretty enthralling, and the mysteries are delicately layered out. So our main protagonist uses old-school investigation techniques as well as some modern technology to find information about this soybean paste stew. And little by little, you discover little ingredients or a specific preparation style that is vitally important to the stew as a whole. And we also find out about the woman who made it. And that's when the lead actress comes into play, Lee Yo-won. And you may know her from the K-drama The Great Queen Sunduk. Good show. She has a minimal role during the first half of The Recipe, and then she gets a lot more screen time during the second half, and she brings in more of the dramatic and romance elements, which are quite good actually, and I will not spoil for you. But her tone is a little bit more serious than Ryu's character. But both of these actors are good and they do a good job here. Now, as you might expect, this is a bit of a genre bender, just a little bit, that blends in some humor and some other stuff. The overall premise is a bit ridiculous, how great can this soup really be? So there is kind of an inherent humor present when the serial killer decides that finishing his bowl of soup is more important and valuable than saving his own life. But the tone is pretty balanced, and the story is presented in a magical, amusing style. You know what I mean? But it never gets too wacky, never gets too depressing. It ebbs and flows in the middle. Now, pacing is a little bit on the slow side, especially during the second half, but The Recipe is an easy recommendation, folks. This is a good movie. And I don't think that many people have seen it, or at least they don't talk about it. So check it out if you haven't. It's currently available streaming on Tubi. And as always, we'll see you next time.